Hi guys, it's Alisha from Scarlet Moon Creations and I'm back with a new video. Finally, this is my bootcamp readathon wrap up where I talk to you about the books I read for the bootcamp readathon and consequently all the books I read in the month of June. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Lachette hasn't filmed a video in months, and no, that's not true. I did my TBR type video for Bootcamp Readathon, but before that, it's been a while, and I also haven't been posting really in months. So shout out to Courtney, the host of Bootcamp Readathon, for reaching out to me, asking me to be a co-host. I hosted some sprints and generally had an overall good time and got back to the amount of reading that I've been doing, but also posting. Hopefully you'll see this relatively soon after the filming. Another thing that June is the end of Herkia, the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. So sad to say, actually, Herkia 1 is completely done at the time of my filming this, and Herkia 2 has already started. It started on July 7th. Herkia 1 ended July 6th. But as far as the June reading, it is what it is. But I still have, well, at the Herkia is done, but I did do a lot of hustling to get in some last minute Herkia prompts for in the month of June, and I made them work with the Bootcamp Readathon. So again, thanks to Courtney at Tangible Reads, shout out to all my co-hosts and all the new booktubers I found. We'll be going over all of the prompts for the readathon, not just the reading prompts. We had put it up on the screen, a bingo board which had some activities as well as books to read. I will say I did not get a blackout bingo for reasons that frustrate me, but also, I did pretty good, I think, given the givens. The other thing I will say is, please excuse me, it's been a while, I'm off my game. It is summertime here, and I live in New York City on a busy road, and they're actually doing construction, though I'm filming this while they're on their lunch break. I'm looking at dude chilling with his feet up on the wheel of one of those construction machines. Anyway, so I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. Also, another disclaimer, because I am doing prompt vlogs for Herkia, a lot of these books you will not get a full, deep, in-depth review of here. Those will be in the Herkia videos. I will indicate, I'll let you know which ones those are, but here goes nothing. I'm gonna start out with the host fave, which is kind of sorta in the middle of the board. And the rule for this particular prompt was that if you've read it in the last year, you can count it. It doesn't have to have been read during the readathon. And luckily for me, one of Keda from the Resistance Book Club's favorite books was An Unkindness of Ghosts by Nnedi Okorafor. This was my pick. I actually read it in May, and so I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it here because I actually have not filmed anything about what I read in May. I listened to the audiobook, though I did look through version. I love these end pages. This does count for a Herkia prompt, but that is the genre prompt as a literary read. This is considered like a literary sci-fi, so it is what it is. I've also, there is disability rep within this book, so it could also count for that prompt on the BootCamp Readathon bingo board, but that wasn't the priority for me. So technically, the first book I finished before the readathon even started. I'm gonna give this a 4 stars. This was also a new release, so I don't know when well, it came out in January 2025 this year. I obviously was definitely looking forward to it. This was supposed to be my January new, but I didn't get to it. It is what it is. So the audio is narrated by Jason Kopp, Liz Femi, Anthony Osiyemi, and Chris Juma. I'm probably not pronouncing those 100% correct, but I appreciate it. This book was really interesting. We're following a young lady who is disabled due to an accident in her childhood, and she's Nigerian American living in the United States for the most part, though family, of course, and her goes back to Nigeria often. If you see me looking down, that's because I'm trying to remind myself of stuff. So our main character's name is Zelu, and she's always felt like the black sheep, the outcast in her Nigerian family. And one day while she's at her sister or her cousin's wedding, unfortunately, that same day she finds out she's fired from her job, and she likes to write books as well, and she got another, notification that her book wasn't accepted. So, bad day while family's trying to be happy. Because of all this, while she's down in the dumps and probably depressed, she writes this wild novel after she moved back in with her parents, and it goes on to become an international bestseller. The book is this kind of sci-fi dystopian thing about robots in the future, after humans are kind of wiped out or whatever. And she winds up getting a movie deal and all of these accolades, but also finds out all of the not so great parts of being famous and being an international best-selling author who happens to be a black woman from Nigeria. And it's very interesting. There's a book within a book style here, so we do see or read Zelu's book as it's being written, and once you get to the end, you have to wonder what's real and what's not. The disability rep is very much on page. You see very much what she has to deal with from different accommodations, how people see her, how some people are like she's a role model so she should act a certain way, how having a certain amount of money gets you a certain amount of perks from aids, disability aids, that are possibly cutting edge. We get cultural clashes, and there's also dealing with grief, both, of different kinds, from family to the loss of the job, and you just wind up feeling for Zelu, and you get engrossed in the story that she's written as well. I always like Nnedi Okorafor's writing. I think there were mixed reviews when I started, but I was like, I want to get to it early before I start hearing too much, and it influences whether I want to move. I'm in the mood for this or not. But I really enjoyed it. So guys, if you haven't, check it out. This is just a library book. So pretty cool. Okay, so going back to the top right prompt, visit a library. And honestly, I did this towards the end of the month, so I'm just going by prompt order, basically. I went to the 53rd Street Library here in New York Public Library System. Basically, I had a book that I knew I wanted to read for this readathon. And I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it now. That was The Marble Queen. The Marble Queen by Anna Kopp and Gabrielle Kari. This was the June pick for the Realm of Comic and Kidlit book club. And so when I saw on the bingo board graphic comic as a prompt, I was like, well, this is what it's going to be. And it was. This also has LGBTQIA plus rep in it as a female-female relationship. Princess saves herself, not quite, but a little bit. It's not very heavy-handed about it. This is YA, which is why it took me a bit to find it in the library, because it wasn't where they said it was, in the adult section. This was cute, and it was also a book I saw recommended by a small booktuber, so you can find this more detailed thoughts about this in the 5 More Booktubers recommendations video for Herked when that comes out. This I also give 4 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I like the art style, and homegirl is gorgeous. So do check it out. Definitely recommend. We're gonna skip the nonfiction for now because I did not actually complete that prompt, unfortunately, even though I was so close. I took too long to read that book, which was a little over 100 pages, and then promptly lost it in the last week and could not find it. So, and then all the ebooks and audiobooks are on hold, so I'm just kicking myself because I think I had like 20 pages left. The next prompt, LGBTQIA plus rep. So I read An Unkindness of Ghosts by Rivers Solomon. This has a ton of LGBTQIA plus rep. This is a book I read for Herked, the queer rainbow, as the intersex book. Our main character is intersex. This is also a book I read for the sci-fi genre for Keda as well. But yeah, you can find this book in either one of those prompt vlogs. Wow, this was a lot. Also giving this 4 stars. I've had this on my TBR forever, and I'm glad I finally read that. Also, I read this includes disability rep, so the last prompt on the BootCamp Readathon bingo board, it covers that as well. 4 stars. So glad I finally got to this. The next prompt is to try a new recipe, and for that, I have a lot of ideas, but what I finally settled on was popsicles, fruit popsicles, all natural fruit popsicles. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I have several of those recipes saved from Instagram, and I made one. I forgot to film the making of it, but I went out and bought this popsicle mold thing from Dollar Tree, I think. No, from a discount store up the block because Dollar Tree didn't have it. But I have, as usual, foraged some service berries. So I had service berry popsicles and peach. Somebody gave me a bunch of peaches that were just the right type. I prefer my peaches to be a little more sour rather than sweet. So yeah, and I've got 2 left that I haven't eaten, or someone else hasn't eaten. So they're delicious. I made like all peach or all service berry, and then some mixed peach and service berry. But yeah, that was the new recipe I tried, and they are delicious. I added either honey or a bit of lemon juice depending on which one I did, and I'm looking forward to making more of them. Next up, the next prompt is BIPOC author, and this one, several of the books, all of the books I've already mentioned would count. Technically, the book that I was going to read for this did not finish in time, but it's Hookshot by Kennedy Ryan, but that's okay. I'll talk about this anyway. This is a romance book, and the last in her Hoops series, and it took forever for this book to come through, and it's actually long past due now, so I really need to return it because somebody else wants to read it. However, I love this so much. A great ending to this trilogy. We're following a single divorced dad who is a senior basketball player on a team where the protagonists, our main protagonist from the first book in the trilogy, and he's low-key been crushing on, what's her name again? Lotus. Her name is something weird. Lotus, who is the cousin of the female protagonist in the first book. So he's low-key been crushing on her, but you know, he's like in his 30s or whatever, late 30s, so we don't call it that anymore, but it is what it is. And Lotus has some unresolved trauma that has started showing up in her sex life recently, so she's sworn off men until she figures that out. But now is the time where, what's his name? Keenan. There we go. Keenan is ready to shoot his shot because he is single, recently divorced, and has a young child. So there's, you know, chemistry. We knew that from previous books, but neither one of them, you know, said anything. And now they're kind of forced together as Keenan has to move to New York City to be with his young daughter, since the mother of his child decided she wanted to join a reality TV show a la Basketball Wives, even though they're divorced. And he's not happy about that. And New York City is where Lotus works as assistant to a fashion house owner, atelier. I don't remember the correct term. Keenan gets hired as a celebrity ambassador for the brand that she works at, and in partnership with a watch brand. So they're kind of thrown together through circumstances. There's some drama with the baby mama side of things, but I like how over time Keenan starts to realize, fully realized his part in the dissolution of his marriage. It didn't happen in a snap. Like, he was aware of that, but how things devolved to the point where his wife did his ex-wife did what she did. And also appreciating, you know, Lotus dealing with her trauma and trying to figure that out. There is a kind of third act breakout, but it's not external reasons. It's, you know, internal. Hopefully Lotus is like, no, you need to take care of your daughter. And I appreciate seeing that. I feel like a lot of my generation and maybe the next one down, Gen Z, kind of really still see ourselves as children even though we're adults, or more aware as a generation, not in an individual sense, of how kids feel and think and see. And it's just like when you can see these things that you dealt with in the eyes of a child growing up, currently going through not the same but something similar. It's like, hey, you know, this is what I would have appreciated as a kid, and maybe I wouldn't be dealing with certain things. So I really like that, and I finished the fucking series. So happy. I don't know what I'm gonna give this. I think this is 4.5 stars because it was nice. It was nice. Not my favorite of the trilogy. Honestly, that would probably go to the first book, as traumatic as that was. The second book, woo, I'm still dealing with my own issues for that male protagonist. So I'm not ready to admit that I like him. But as I was saying, all of the books I mentioned before this, Marble Queen, Death of the Author, and An Unkindness of Ghosts all have BIPOC main authors, so those could all fit. The next prompt: support 10 new to me booktubers. So let's talk about the 10 new to me booktubers that I supported. First off, we have to start with the booktubers that were my fellow co-hosts, or drill sergeants, or drill instructors, excuse me. My fellow drill instructors that I've never seen a single video from before. And that I subscribed to because they were my fellow co-hosts, and I watched several of their videos just because I like them. There's Donna Marie Reads, Books and Things with Alisha. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at their names. This Kiwi Jess, who has a really cool series. We've got a Spooky Library with Shantel, who is one of my favorite new sprinters. She does reading and productivity sprints. And yeah. So next up is heavily influenced by her freshly read books. Came out of the gate and has been going crazy. Not a new booktuber, but new to a lot of us, because she posted a Herkid video with these really great what do you call it, graphics, these really great graphics. And she was starting Herkid 1 about 2 months before it ended. Not realizing there was probably going to be a Herkid 2. Also, really like the kind of sit down / vlog style of videos she's doing for those, which I am unabashedly going to copy to an extent, because that would make my life a little bit easier. I don't know why I never did it like that before, but yeah. So next up, we've got, there's Bunko Bun, who actually reached out to me months ago about doing a video with them, telling like what's my favorite manga of all time. And this is more of a manga channel, so, but that's, you know, something that a lot of people read on BookTube, even if they're not just manga readers. They do read manga. And so check out Bunkelbon. They do a lot of videos like that, compilations where you get an idea of what a lot of people like to read, especially in the manga space. They also do manga recommendation videos. And there was Dan's Basement, who I found because I was looking for other people's opinions on a particular comic book, Deadly Class. So Dan's Basement, I will talk about again in the Herkid video, but if you're looking for someone who talks about comic books and comics, giving recommendations in different categories, Dan's Basement is another option for you. There's also Brooklyn Bell, who I was really happy to find. Another black booktuber, but also in New York City. I don't know. You think there would be like a million of us, but it is what it is, you guys. She talks about romance, fantasy, erotica, historical fiction, just all of these great things, and has a really bubbly personality. Poppy Calliope is another booktuber I recently found, and I know she does the monthly prompt jar picks, so check her out. Then I was trying to find some guys, but in the middle of that, I have the Reading and Writing Life, another person who was doing Herkid, and one of the few I think who kept up with regular vlogs talking about their updates, and they're going to be doing Herkid too, so I'm looking forward to watching more of their videos. I've been watching a lot of the Reading and Writing Life, and I think her name is Amanda, but I really enjoy her personality and honestly listening to her southern accent. And then there's Faith Hansen, a new booktuber, literally not just new to me, but to the general booktube space. Only been around a couple of months and just now figuring out like what kind of content they want to post and talk about. Getting back into reading and looking for recommendations as well. So if you want to help her out, go check out Faith Hansen's channel. I don't know how much that was, but let me see who else. Oh yes, Lit Vibes with 5, because 5 is awesome. He says he's your booktube cousin, and I agree. He reads across the spectrum, and it's really great to see a black man do that. It's also interesting getting those opinions, a different perspective. So I don't know if that was 10, but I think that was 10. The next prompt was to host Faith, which I already talked about. Drink an extra cup of water. Where's my cup of water? Oh my god. So I did, to the best of my ability. I started a tracker because I'm like, I don't know how much water I normally drink. Drink a lot of water, but I don't keep track of how much. And I am one to deny myself basic things if I feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to. We're not going to get into that. But I found a bottle of water. It's not a cup, it's a bottle of shit. Next up was the prompt to meditate for 5 minutes daily. Again, I did not keep track, but I know I did not do this every single day of the month, even though I was one of the co-hosts who were offering sprints with meditation moments for, yeah, it's 5 breaths. But I did try my best, and yeah. Alright, the book with less than 100 pages I did not complete. That was supposed to be Service Berry, also my nonfiction book. Oh no, I did complete it because I put it to the side. Forgot. That book is the Butter Battle book by Dr. Seuss. I do not remember how many pages this is, but let me look it up real quick. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's a really short book. It's a kid's book, but I picked it up for a Herkyed prompt, and that prompt is to read a book that was a top 10 bestseller in the year you were born. And so you can find that in that little reading vlog that I did for it. I can say that it has an open ending, so be prepared for that. It's still very appropriate for today's times, and it was a banned book at one time. I can't remember if it is currently a banned book, but this is a Dr. Seuss book I had never read before. I'd never even heard of. And like many Dr. Seuss books, I was definitely tongue-tied and tongue-twisted attempting to read this. So if you're like, blah, 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 it was me too. I had practiced several times before I said that just now. So what do I give this? I'm gonna give it a 5 stars, to be perfectly honest. It's not like my new favorite thing that I'm gonna read over and over again, but it's so very clear about the times. So children's fiction for the win. 56 pages, and I'm not going to talk about the year it came out. Check out that reading vlog because I don't want to say anything else. The next prompt is to read a book over 450 pages. Hookshot would have fulfilled that prompt. I didn't finish it by the end of the month, so alas. And I didn't read anything else that was over 450 pages. Next, spend time outside. I did several times. I went to the pool. What else did I do? We had like a pool party for my niece's birthday at the beginning of the month. I went to the park. I went to, in particular, the foodway to help steward the land there and also forage. So I got some berries, and I went to another local park and got some service berries as well from there. For my popsicles, I foraged those service berries and went out. But on one particular day, I wanted like an outside reading day, so I went to a larger local park, Cortona Park, and there's the pool there, and people were barbecuing and other stuff. I just found some lawn space, laid down my mat, and read. I also joined in for, I think, Paula and Shantel's spirits for the BootCamp Readathon. So I did it. Next book prompt is read a book with blue and green on the cover. J.D. Robb's Abandoned in Death fit this prompt for me. I need to read this for Herkyed. So there was not going to be a lot of details said here right now. This will be in my seasonal reading vlog. This is my spring book, and I think this is what I was reading outside at the park at the time. This is a thriller, mystery, more copy book series, in depth. J.D. Robb is a pseudonym for Nora Roberts. If you did not know, this is a series I'm trying to catch up on, and I quite like these characters, and it's set in the future of New York City, and we follow our main character, Lieutenant Eve Dallas, who is a lieutenant in Homicide Detective Division, and we have murders and missing women situation to solve here. I thought this was pretty straightforward, and then there was a twist, and I was like, oh, okay. Thank you. Way to keep me on our toes when we're 50 plus books in a series. Okay, not super crazy wild, but I enjoyed it, and so it gets a 4-star for me. Might bump this down to 3.5, just saying. It was a comfort. So, blue and green. There's this dark blue background and this teal for the title. I'm counting that as green, even though teal sits firmly in the middle of blue and green. Blue and green. So, this counts, okay? The next prompt is buy yourself something new. I got this cute sticker set. Another place I went outside to, I forgot just that quickly, in the month of June, was Moon Serpent and Bone Night Market, which was really cool. And one of the vendors was Jay Leroy, artist and graphic designer. And he had the sticker set, which was $5. And they're different from any other stickers I've gotten before, so I was like, I'll get it. I guess you can also count my little popsicle set thing there. I bought that as well. It was something new. I don't have a popsicle set. Alright, next prompt is to create a 20-minute workout. I did on my phone using Samsung Health, and then I probably didn't do it. I did the next prompt, strength daily. I did a lot of yoga. I did not do the yoga workout 20-minute thing that I created, but I created it. 2 separate prompts, but they both got done. Also, during my sprints, I showed, various yoga poses, standing, sitting, recline, and arm ones as well. So that helped me with my stretching regularly. I also have experience doing yoga, and I found a new yoga channel. Move with Shanika is the name of that channel. So she's been doing these sunrise to sunset videos. So I started doing those. So I'm still stretching daily with yoga. The next reading prompt was the indie self-published author, and I read the next book in a series that I love, and that is Criminal Intentions by Cole McCade, Changing Faces. And recently, like last month, May, the books are available on audiobook via Libby and not Outlook, Jesus Christ, what is this thing called? Cloud Library. So, woo! I read the 4th book in the 1st season. Very short, 5 hours and 27 minutes. I listened to audiobook, and I was like, why didn't I do this at the beginning of the month? This I was listening to on the way to and from the library at 53rd Street that day, and it was really good. The not the most thrilling of the books, but I have to say this was also for another Herket prompt, so can't go into too much detail. This will be in my indie book from an indie author blog, so check that out. Just know I gave it 4.5 stars, and I can't wait to continue this series. I love it, and I'm happy that I can get it from a library now. The next prompt on the bingo board is to update Storygraph or Goodreads. I don't use Goodreads anymore. I was updating Storygraph with, I started a book, how many pages I read or listened to that day, and then I ended the book. So there's that. I need to go back in and put like reviews for everything after I finish this video, but I did do that, and we already talked about disability rep with Death and Unkindness of Ghosts, but there is also Disability Wrap and Death of the Author. So, with that, that is the wrap up for the Bootcamp Readathon. Let me know how you did with the activities and with your books read. How did you do? I got to most of them. I started every single one that I talked about my TBR. Who am I? Not every single one I talked about my TBR, but the main ones I plan to read. Who am I though? Like, seriously, that's wild. That being said, guys, like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you are new, hit the notification bell for the next video so you know when the next video is coming. Links to whoever I talked about, the 10 booktubers, my co-host, and the creator, hostess, drill sergeant with the mostest, Courtney, in the description. All the books are listed as well there, and I'm crooked. God knows how long I've been crooked. Links to my Instagram and Etsy shop with the 10% off discount code, so you can check that out. Also, link to my Patreon. I have an exclusive tier where you can see bookish only videos that are exclusive to Patreon only, but also you can join me at the Sunset tier to get early and ad-free access to all the videos on my channel, because you know I'm not just a booktuber. That being said, guys, thank you as always so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.